Hello everybody, it's B here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the Asus ROG Rampage V, the 10th anniversary edition, basically the mother of all motherboards. Here she is. So on top there's a little bit of a plastic shield to protect everything, and there is the most epic motherboard you will literally ever see. It's got everything you'll ever need, but we'll talk about that in just a second. In here is actually what we're going to talk about first. So first off, we got the manual, and yeah, you're gonna need this. You actually really are going to need this, so make sure you keep it. We also got 4 screws and 2 right angle brackets for something I have no idea what it is. No idea, but I have a suspicion. This is actually the Rgb LED header extension. It's really cool because I'll show you a little bit more about the RGB header in just a minute. It's really awesome. Next we got the triple Wi-Fi antenna. Basically this bottom part is magnetic, and you can actually manipulate this top part by twisting it around to make it fit wherever you need to, so it's not blocking airflow or anything crazy like that. And yeah, it is tri-band Wi-Fi, so that you got 3 of these things that don't actually screw in anymore. They actually plug in. It's really cool. It's a much better implementation, I think. Otherwise, we got some other extension cables for various headers and stuff like that. We actually have 3 temperature sensors, which is really cool, so you can actually make your fans respond to an exact temperature. You also get some SATA cables right there. Half of them are right angle, half of them are perfectly straight. We actually have a CPU installation tool, which is really interesting. I've never seen one of those before. And we actually get 2 coasters from Asus, so that's kind of cool. And you even get some stickers, some ROG stickers there. And these are some more stickers that are like cable labels, hard drive labels, you know, keyboard stickers, stuff like that. Pretty cool. I gotta say, I'm really proud about that being implemented. And the next one, we actually have an Sli Bridge, a HBM Sli Bridge, and now you actually can't even use this anymore. NVIDIA doesn't even allow you to use more than 2 GPUs now. Well, they don't support it officially. We even get a USB drive that actually have all the drivers and installation tools and everything you'll need, which is really cool. I really do appreciate that. And this is a little block that helps you install the front headers to your motherboard. You can just plug them in here and then plug the whole block in just all at once. It makes it a lot easier, because if you've ever installed those, you know how difficult they can actually be, and man, it is terrible. It is terrible. And last but not least, in here we get a screw and a standoff for installing a an M.2 drive. And they've also ditched the I/O shield. It comes with a cover now instead of the actual shield. The shield is actually installed on the board, as you can see here, which is pretty sweet. You even get a flexible Sli Bridge. That's not HBM though, or not HBM. It's just high bandwidth. This is a high bandwidth 3-way SLI though, which is pretty sweet. But like I said, you can't use that for anything more than benchmarks. We also get another installation tool. And we actually also get a fan hub, which is pretty freaking awesome. This is a good quality one. I think this is what you use the screws for in these 2 little holes here. I think those are what you use to mount this thing. Anyway, you get a cable that runs from your motherboard to there, and then you can connect your 3 temperature sensors as well as 4 PWM fans and just a Molex connector that delivers extra power to the whole thing. And you can control all your fans in one place. You don't have to deal with routing cables in weird places. And you get a whole bunch more SATA cables there, more than you'll ever need, to be completely honest. And last but very not least, this glorious thing, which is their Dac and Amp that actually gets included. This gets stuck in a 5 1/4 inch bay, just like a disk drive. My computer actually doesn't have one, so that kind of sucks, but I'll try and figure out some sort of use for this, but we'll see what we can do. It actually looks really nice, and I really appreciate that they add something like this into the case. We're going to take an overview of the motherboard, but before continuing, just make sure that you know that you might want to watch my video that I've made about computer parts and the layout of motherboards and CPUs and everything like that, because this will definitely help you a lot in understanding what the heck I'm saying in the next coming parts. So it actually comes with 4 16x PCI slots, as well as a 4x and a 1x for extra drives and things like that. CPU socket is an LGA 2011 socket, so you can only install your X99 chips that are 5000 series 6 and 8 core chips, as well as your 6000 series that are 6, 8, and the new 10 core processors. You can't fit any others in here, they won't work. And that is all coming from the X99 chipset, which sits behind this little heatsink. And be careful because this has a little bit of a powder coated sort of finish that is quite easily scratchable, so just make sure that you're really careful when you're touching these areas. As far as power connections go, you get your basic 24-pin cable connection right there, as well as an 8-pin CPU power up at the top, and there's an extra 4-pin there that you can use for extra CPU power if you're doing extreme overclocking, but it's not necessary. You actually get RGB all throughout this board, so you get them on the heat sinks, on the labels, and every logo basically on the entire board, as well as the PCI slots, and a whole bar that goes along the whole entire right side of the motherboard. This motherboard has a freaking backplate. As 10th anniversary, granted the backplate doesn't cover everything, but your lighting strip goes on the whole side of the board right there, powered via this little cable down there. It's pretty cool. You get 10 SATA 6 gigabit per second connections here, as well as a U.2 connection for those NVMe Intel drives, which is pretty cool. You even get 7 fan headers. You get 2 CPU fan headers there. You get 2 right there. One is dedicated pump header, so it delivers a lot more amperage to drive those pumps. You get 2 at the bottom and 1 on the left side under that heatsink there. Top right corner is really cool because you get an LED readout of everything that's happening on the board if there's any kind of errors or anything. You also get a start and a reset button that you can just hit without having to hook up your motherboard to anything else, which is really, really helpful. And a few other small things such as memory OK button and stuff like that. You actually even get an individual RAM slot switch that you can turn on and off each individual RAM slot, which is kind of interesting. You even have an M.2 slot down here that lets you install an extremely high bandwidth speed drive, and you can install it in these 3 configurations. At the bottom here we have a Thunderbolt header, a fan extension header, a temperature sensor, a BIOS switch, your front panel headers right there, and you get 2 ROG extensions there, as well as a USB 2 header, 2 fan ports right down there, another USB 3 header, and the all-important RGB header. This allows you to install RGB light strips throughout your case, completely controllable through the motherboard. And on the bottom you also get an optional Molex connector to help deliver a little bit more power to those PCI slots if you're doing some crazy overclocking. Let me know how you guys liked the video today. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Make sure you're subscribed because this is going into a build coming really, really soon, and it's going to be seriously epic. But anyways, guys, this has been B, and I will catch you in the next one.